Hey everybody, it's Haku here, and I am coming at you today with the first part of a new informational thing because there were some people that liked the last one. It's a new Tower of God informational thing, and I'm going to be doing the top 15 rankers. Going to do 5 an episode for 3 weeks. Just an extra little video to throw in there as part of this time slot. And I think I'm going to use it as my Saturday video and move my Walking Dead predictions up to Fridays. So yeah, I think that this will be every Saturday. Every Saturday for the next 3 weeks I'll have one of these videos for you. Got a little bit off topic there, wasted like 40 seconds, so let's get into it. The 15th strongest ranker is, of course, Grace Merche Luzlek, and his sobriquet is the Heretic, and it used to be the Tigerfish. So, before I get into telling a story, I do want to bring up also, before I really start, that if you saw my 10 Families Explained videos, you may have heard some of the stories of some of these rankers, but I'm just going to repeat them again in case like people only want to watch this series. And we already heard a bit about people like Grace Merche Luzlek or Pobidal Gustang in my other videos, but here I'm going to elaborate on them further and blah blah blah. You get what I'm saying, I'm sure. So back to Grace Merche Luzlek. He is the Slayer #1, the founder and living god of FUG, which is theorized by a lot of people to stand for Forgiven Under Grace, which makes sense. So Grace Merche Luzlek was he could fill any position. He was a member of Zahard's team, could fill any position, and they said there was nothing that his great black hook couldn't pierce. So that's very cool. He's very strong. And other names that he has been called are God of Devils, the Tower's Absolute Darkness, Demon King, things like that. So I'm very interested to when we finally get to see Grace Merche Luzlek, because he seems really freaking cool, and he's been hyped up really well by the blogs and in the canon story. And number 14 in the top 15 rankers is Pobidal Gustang. He's the only head of one of the 10 families that we've seen so far, being the head of the Bidal family, and also his sobriquet is Aloof Wave, which is kind of the translation that they're going for, and the meaning behind it is sort of like how English speakers would say lone wolf, or say that someone is a lone wolf. That's what they mean by Aloof Wave when referencing Pobidal Gustang. Now, Pobidal Gustang is the first living creature to systematically record Shinsu. He's a researcher of Shinsu and the guide position in particular, and he has a very close relationship with the workshop. As we saw, he was in the workshop battle saga and played a role there, so it's very interesting to see him there. And he is one of the only two he's one of the only two people from the top 15 that I think we've actually seen or has directly been in the story so far. Pobidal Gustang is the most famous wave controller and rider in the tower, and they say that he probably knows more about the tower than any other person there. But he's not so free with his information, and even when he talks about it, it's so complex that even people like Uruk Mazano just didn't understand him. So I think he's a very fun and interesting character in that aspect as well. And lastly, he was the former lover of another head of a family, Eurasia Blossom, but after the incident with their daughter, Eurasia N, that I'll get into again when I get to Eurasia N next episode, he split from her, and their families have had a bad relationship ever since. Number 13 is the flower shrimp, Eurasia Blossom. And she is lazy. She likes to dress in sort of a gaudy, flamboyant manner, and she looks like a child. So Pobidal Gustang is a lolicon. That's Just look back at him in the workshop battle and think about that now. He's the former lover of somebody who, one of the only things we know about them is, looks like a child. So as part of her lazy personality, Eurasia Blossom doesn't take very good care of the floors that she is in charge of, and she gets criticized a lot for it as well. And also, she doesn't really take part in tower politics very much, and a lot of other family heads disagree with that as well. Eurasia Blossom was a just very powerful natural Shinsu controller, and her attacks were very just explosive and unpredictable. She's just a natural power. She doesn't know how she uses Shinsu or why she uses it so well, but she uses it to great effect. The 12th strongest person in the tower is a story that we haven't got into yet, and I haven't discussed yet in any of my videos, and it's a really interesting one. I am excited to see this person in the story someday, and that is Malik 1 PGR. Malik 1 PGR is one of the 3 lords of the tower. He's the eldest of the 3 lords and the one that's currently in power. And Malik 1 is his sobriquet, and it's his sobriquet because he is the absolute ruler of Malik, which is apparently a region of the tower. It is said that his personality is very charismatic and that he's sort of a generous and benevolent ruler. He's a good ruler. He's a good lord. And lastly, into Malik 1 PGR's combat abilities, they say that in combat he was a threat to even Zahard himself, and that he doesn't have a position. He is positionless. Not that, like some people, he has the ability to fill any position, but that when he fights without any regard to position whatsoever. He just fights with his own style outside of any position, and his weapon of choice is the halberd. And of course, those of you that know me outside of YouTube, if you're watching, you know that the halberd is one of my favorite weapons. So I'm really excited to see him because of that too. Just his character design seems really cool. Like, getting to see, with all the different characters we've had in Tower of God, seeing like a kind, benevolent ruler with just a powerful dude with a halberd, since most of the really powerful people we've seen have kind of been like either evil or could be antagonistic in the right circumstances. So we haven't really seen any clear good guys that are super strong. And lastly, for this episode, number 11 in the strongest rankers is God's Eye Tupari Tupari. Now, Tupari Tupari is the head of the Tupari family, and that is quite repetitive. But she is confirmed female, and she is one of the most active heads of any of the 10 great families. She makes items, and I think she even supplies some of them to the workshop. But she makes items, and she's most famous for making the 3 opera, which are the most powerful lighthouses in all of the tower. One of the opera was given to the Princess Jaina Repelista Zahard, one was given to the Lord Flux, and one was kept for herself even though she never uses it, because her weapon or her ability is, her lighthouse is called God's Eye. And she says that the tower bestowed God, like the god of the tower bestowed his eyes upon her or something like that. And it's not known if there's any truth to that or if it's just a romanticized tale. We have yet to find out. But I would go so far as to venture that given all the OP visual abilities we've seen of the opera, that Tupari Tupari's Eyes of God pretty much let her see anywhere at any time. Also, it's theorized, again, not confirmed, but it's theorized by a lot that Tupari Tupari was the strategist, or at least one of the strategists for Zahard's team as they were climbing. So anyway, that's it for rankers 15 through 11, and next Saturday I will have 10 through 6. I hope you guys look forward to it. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you enjoyed this series and the last one. And the next one, if I do another, I'm not sure what I'll put in this this video slot. If I decide to not do another Tower of God series after this, maybe I'll do a different discussion series, or maybe you guys will want to see me do a series once a week on a different series, a discussion series on a different thing, like once a week top 5 videos. That wouldn't be very good. I'm not the best at those. I don't know. I'll figure out something to fill this when this is all over. But I thank you so very much for watching. Like if you guys like the video, comment down there. Tell me what you think of these five rankers. Tell me what you thought of the video, I guess. Subscribe for a lot more Tower of God. At least 3 or 4 videos a week. Same with One Piece, around 3 or 4 a week. And around 3 a week, sometimes 5 if a comic chapter comes out for The Walking Dead. Also, I do 2 anime reviews a week, or I at least try to. So I thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe for all that stuff. Follow on Twitter for the updates on what I'm doing in case anything gets pushed back or anything like that. And I will see you all next time.